I want to welcome you all back to another Emerging Topics in Information Science podcast with your host, Nick Watson. Today's topic of discussion will be on affective computing, specifically the keynote by Rosalind Pickard. And if you're not familiar with the terminology or what affective computing is, it's essentially the study of systems and devices that can recognize, interpret, process, and simulate human effects. So typically this is facial expressions. So think if you're sad, affective computing in a sense would be able to detect that and respond in a way that's appropriate for the emotion it senses. So when I think about affective computing, I try to consider the industries that it would affect the most, right? So when you think of it in a sense as advertising, this is a field that definitely could utilize emotions to alter the advertising experience and how it targets certain individuals, as well as healthcare. And I see more of a use in healthcare, and there has been some situations where it's really helped certain people who, for example, may be struggling with Parkinson's, or any sense where they have a difficult time maybe speaking, and you have to utilize their emotions and their facial expressions to really determine what they're trying to say or they're trying to do. But advertising is what worries me the most because this can be very problematic. We already are struggling with the issue of, advertising companies are mining our data and they're trying to see our spending habits and they're trying to, advertise off of that information. Well, imagine if you're at your computer and you're feeling sad and whatever application you're using is able to pick up on that. The reason this can be a problem is advertisers could target you in a sense, noticing that you're sad, and they may try to cheer you up with purchasing a certain product. So I think there's a lot of ethical issues that you have to think about in regarding to affective computing. Now, I do think that overall there are more benefits than cons to it, but again, it's just how we handle the ethical aspect of using people's emotions to alter their user experience. So advertising worries me, but healthcare, I see this being extremely valuable, especially in use cases where patients are having a hard time relaying information, and you really need all the subtle cues that you get from facial expressions to help relay the message or relay what they're trying to accomplish. So moving forward, I'm cautious but optimistic, at least regarding healthcare. I think there's just a lot of benefits in that field, and I look forward to seeing how it gets utilized in the future. I want to thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Until next time.